I bought a drill today. I'm a big boy. I went to Lowe's and I didn't cry. I walked around like a big boy and found things I needed, and I didn't need anyone else.
They make adult attachments for those.
What?
They
They
drill
do.
bits and
Yeah. Oh.
and there's these things.
Oh, no,
you
no.
like put a screw on it
Yeah.
and you slide it down.
Okay.
And you go shh, and it's straight and it's awesome. I don't know what it's called.
It's called gross, Tiny. That's what it's called.
Quick change bits. I felt your cough.
I'm glad I
on my
didn't
leg.
catch any of that. I don't know what the hell y'all just said. I'm going to keep it that way, too.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dane Holland. And you ever just put two things into a blender just to see what happens?
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer, and what if I'm one of those ingredients?
I'm Marcus Whitaker, the Claymation celebrity assassination person known as I'm Electric Man.
I'm Austin Tiny Zint, and there's a bathroom on the right.
And we're Nerd It Through the Grapevine, a podcast where four best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. Austin, what's up? We haven't hit the funnies yet, have we?
barely held it together for that, too.
No, it's a song. It's a song. There's a bad moon on the rise, and he just there's a bathroom on the right.
It's the most popular mondegrin of that song.
Mondegrin?
It's the term for misheard lyric. There's a term for it.
Whoa.
Now you know.
We just started and already learned something?
I already learned something today.
That's awesome.
I hate learning.
Learn me more things, Tiny.
I will. So, have you all seen that movie, Interview with the Vampire?
No.
I haven't either. But I did get to interview a lycanthrope this week. I'm not going to name this person's name because I want to protect his innocence. And during the course of the interview, I learned several things. I learned that there's several ways that you can get the curse. One way, you piss off a hag.
Hold on. For those who don't know what a lycanthrope is,
A werewolf.
a werewolf.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily a werewolf. It's a were-person.
Okay.
It's a blending of man and some type of beast. The most
Okay.
common is werewolf.
Right.
But there's like were-rats, were-bears.
Were-rat?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Were-bear.
But, that's basically what it is because the shifting is lycanthropy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so you can get it from pissing off a hag, which is like, a witch. You can be turned by
old
wearing the
witch.
skin of a former wolf, or through like a blood exchange, or you can just be born with the curse. And there are two different types of lycanthropes, specifically werewolves. True bloods walk on all fours, and the thin bloods are bipedal, which means they walk on 2 feet.
Okay.
So,
I thought that I could just see one on a bicycle.
yeah. But now I began to ask this man questions.
Okay.
And I compiled his answers, and I will just read to you my interview.
Please.
Because this is his story. It's not mine. It's this man's story. I did change his name. It was a hot night in the summer of 1963. Teddy was walking home from a day of playing at his friend Paul's. He was tired after such a long day, and his only thought was of food and a cool, refreshing glass of Mountain Dew. He was walking down a long dirt road in the holler when he heard a strange noise coming from the woods at the side of the road. It didn't sound like anything he'd heard before. He became frightened and started to run. As he picked up speed, the rustling intensified in the tree line. It appeared to be matching pace with him. When he got in sight of his family's home, something burst from the trees. He felt biting and tearing sensations in his arms and legs. He felt like he was being thrown into a wood chipper. The pain overtook him, and he lost consciousness. His parents found him lying in the ditch by their mailbox the next morning. When he awoke 3 days later, he was in the hospital. Everyone assumed he was attacked by a dog. It was consistent with the bite wounds found on his legs and thighs. His first change occurred when he was approximately 13. His theory is the infection lies dormant until puberty. He remembers waking up in his bed covered in dirt and grass and some sticky, brown, maroonish liquid.
Gross.
He jumped out of bed, ran down the hall into the small sun-drenched bathroom. It seemed like he would never get clean. He washed and washed his body over and over to remove the remnants of his first hunt. Once out of the shower, he realized that there were footprints on the faded carpet leading from the bedroom to the bathroom. He attacked them with soapy water and a stiff bristled brush until all but a faint trace remained. What to do with the sheets, he thought. He can't just take them out of the washing machine, he'd be caught. He still doesn't really even know what happened. His father wouldn't take, "I don't know what happened," as an answer. So he jerked the sheets off the bed and snuck out behind the barn and stuffed them in the old burn barrel. He lit them ablaze, and within a few minutes there were nothing but smoldering ashes. His changes occurred on a cycle that didn't really make sense to him at the time. Each time he shifted, he remembered more and more of what was occurring. Eventually, he was able to form coherent thoughts and control the beast within himself. He must change at least once a month or death will come for him. He is always so hungry as the beast. An eternal aching hunger lives in his belly. It's so foreign yet so familiar, kind of like seeing distant relatives at a family reunion. Now in the spring of 2021, Teddy is nearing the twilight of his life, and the shift takes a toll on his physical form. It's begun to put a strain on his old heart, and a deep ache is always in his joints. The pelt doesn't fully retreat into his body anymore. He's always kind to the people around him, and he's thankful he didn't pass the curse on to any of his children. I won't reveal where he works, but he's a kindly custodian at one of the schools in the area. He always has a kind word for everyone he meets. He's like everyone's favorite grandfather. You would never know that a primal hunger lives deep in his belly. Beware, this could also be your story, he warned me. I wouldn't wish this life on anyone. Please be careful going out at night. Take a light with you, if not a friend. Be cautious. Be well, my friends.
Dude, you interviewed my dad. You interviewed my dad.
I changed the name so nobody would know.
My dad was bitten by... Tiny approaches my dad this week, and he says, "Hey, so when was the first time you can remember ever being bit by a dog?" And my dad was like, he loves stuff like this because it's miscellaneous BS. And he's like, oh man, I remember that. I remember that like it was yesterday. It was back in 1963. I was 6 years old, and I was walking home from school. Most of the part of that story was true, except for the part of the whole ripping and tearing. You know, that was just a few bites.
The whole story was true.
Wait, you did talk to my father, though. I'm trying to say what the... I'm going to wash his filth off of the story. Part of that story was true. He was coming home. There we go. He saw something in the bushes. Okay, cool. It chased him. That happened. It bit him. The ripping and the snarling and the passing and the out and then he's a furry man, though, guys.
He's a werewolf.
He's not a werewolf. If there's anything, he's a were-ape.
I mean, he is a were-person.
That you just mistook.
A werebear.
You mistook. He might be. I oftentimes
He's a werebear cub.
I would love to be.
Are you accusing me of lying to our listeners right now?
No, elongation of the truth is not a lie per se.
I'm just going to say right now, we would never lie to our listeners or each other on this show.
He made a really kick-ass, story for it, though. What an origin story that you've collected.
Anybody
folklore.
Okay, just to be honest, though, if anybody wants to know the man's real name, I'm not telling you because everyone knows him as Fuzzy.
It's just Fuzzy.
Fuzzy. If you take them, if he ever takes his shirt off in front of you, it's not a normal kind of hair. It grows into itself in the middle of his spine and almost looks like it's a rat's tail.
It's the pelt.
Like a rat tail. It's a pelt. And we do a yearly shearing of my father. We didn't. And this isn't a joke. This is dead serious.
The yearly daddy shear.
And I'm sorry to tell you, but last year we didn't do it because of COVID. So the man's backed up an entire year worth of growth. When he doesn't have a certain kind of... He wears compression shirts everywhere because he likes the way they feel. But if he doesn't wear a compression shirt, his hair holds his clothes off of him.
I mean, I too do not know what it feels like for a shirt to lay against my skin. But I mean, I went through all the trouble of changing his name to protect his identity.
I never told his identity.
You bust him out like that.
Not his God-given name or mom given name or dad given
But
name.
everybody knows him by what you said, and I changed his name to Teddy so they wouldn't know who he was.
Yeah, that's still fuzzy like a bear.
I had no idea where you were going with that until you said their occupation, and that's when I looked over at Austin, and he looked at me like, "You son of a."
I mean, I did real good doing the whole thing with a straight face.
Absolutely.
I'm so happy that you did. But there is a downside to the sheep shearing of my father. It's actually
You couldn't say.
you can't do it all at one sitting. You have to do it in shifts. And it's not because you get tired, because it's such an anomaly within itself. Like removing it off of him and seeing what his actual body is, it's kind of just like, wow. I thought you, dang, that's there. But we have to stop, and we always do it just because. But we never take pictures because it's embarrassing for him. But we
Yeah,
stop.
so we should tell everyone that listens to us.
They don't-
Everyone
they-
in the future. That
They don't.
decides to listen.
They don't see it. They don't see it. It's
Right.
the seeing part of it is what would embarrass him. I actually pulled his shirt up in front of somebody one time whenever I was in middle school, and I showed them his back. I'm like, "You ever seen this?" And he's like, "Don't you ever do that to me again." But we have to stop midway, and we usually do it midway on his shoulders, like vertically. So he's got front half shaven, back half hairy. It looks like he came and kissed a fire.
So you start with the front.
Yeah. Yeah, because if we, because honestly, but we've had to put like aloe and stuff on his back afterwards before, because the clippers got so hot halfway through his back that they started burning him from the metal being too hot. So we shaved him down. Then we noticed, like, Dad, what are all these big claw marks? It's from where the hot metal was just touching his skin. It was so hot, it was burning him on the way down.
Halfway through the second shift, that's when the burning starts.
Have you
to
ever
happen.
thought
It
of
was
greasing
halfway
them
through the
first?
second shift. What?
You ever thought of greasing them first?
Why would I grease my dad?
Just add an extra layer of
Why would you
difficulty.
make that more difficult on the trimmers? Why would I grease him first before I shave him? Well, I mean, am I going straight? Am I going? What kind of razor am I going? Am I going single blade?
5 blade.
Am I going dual blade? Am I going disposable? Am I going?
No, you're going
safety
5 blade with the little wobbly head.
Okay, I'm gonna go cartridge blade. Is it gonna have a single blade, a double blade, lubricated strip? I'm gonna have a
Yes.
piece of soap around it.
All of that.
So when's the last time you lubed and sheared your father?
Tell us.
Yeah, tell us. Send us an email.
Tell us.
Send Tiny a phone call.
You know, a few of you listeners contact me, you know, and you let me know what you think. Sometimes it's like, hey, that was gross, or hey, you know, I liked what you said about this. I like it when I get some feedback. I mean, I would appreciate negative feedback too, just because, you know, it helps us grow. But, you know, if you want to talk about my dad's body hair, just come on with it. It is something that it's amazing. And sometimes he takes it upon himself because he gets tired of it, and he just gets his arms, so he's wearing a sweater vest. It's amazing.
Have you ever thought of doing cornrows in it?
I don't like
mean,
it.
I feel like that could be amazing. Or you can like cut pictures into it, like the Nike swoosh.
No, because you would cut one part up his back and it'd be long enough that a part of it down below would go away. So you don't really know where one part ends and the other begins.
Now, how can you tell when to stop? By that I mean, like when you're working your way down the man's back.
If
Like,
he ties his pants as tightly as he can in a specific position, and we go up from the pants.
okay,
He has a safe word.
so you go from bottom up.
We go from the bottom up when we get to a certain part of the
Okay,
back.
because I mean, I feel like it could get really dangerous when you get down in his butt cleavage.
We don't do that, and I actually don't know if he does. I've seen that man's underwear.
I bet it's a horror show.
It's like somebody's been making fruit pastries.
What?
I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but I don't really want to know either. Oh god!
So it's nerded through the grapevine canon that your dad is a were person, right?
Apparently so.
He absolutely is. That was his story that I read to y'all.
Thank you. So you did interview his father.
I did while he sat there and watched
And I was just
and complained the whole time.
because you get my dad on you get my dad on something, and you know what? I bet you any day he will call me and he'll say, "Hey, you got that podcast out where he did that interview?"
He's gonna hate
I will text him Monday after it drops.
That's wonderful.
No. it
Yes,
was not.
Marcus.
I feel sick. I feel sick.
Marcus is. What are you?
He's pale.
I just, I don't know.
pale.
Just the amount of mileage we got out of that was just impossible. I don't know. Anyway, do y'all remember Celebrity Deathmatch?
Of course.
Oh yeah,
Of
Great
Yes.
show.
Claymation.
I wonder how many. There's probably a lot of people that don't remember that.
Yeah.
That would.
Do you remember the years that it came out? Because
No, that's
we-
why I have the Googler.
we were probably young enough that we shouldn't have been watching something that gruesome.
Yeah, it came on late at night on MTV.
But it was such a cool idea, or was it just so like?
raunchy.
Yeah, like
It was-
so bad. Like
I
because
feel
these
like it
were
was
actually
both.
people that were like alive. You know, like
Yeah.
like one of the matches was Chris Rock versus The Rock,
Oh,
and
my
actually
gosh.
Chris Rock beat him.
That's
Really?
I don't
Yes,
agree
he
with
did.
that.
I know, and you know, I think that part
Wait.
of that they have to kind of do stuff like that just to keep you know.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
Of course, The Rock's going to beat the crap out of Chris Rock.
Wait, Chris Rock beat Dwayne the Rock
The
Johnson.
Rock Johnson.
I wish that
Absolutely.
I could find out how he feels about that.
We
Who,
could do a
The Rock?
cameo with him, and maybe he would tell us in that.
I don't think Dwayne the Rock Johnson does cameo because I've been scoping out a bunch of cameos here recently, and Gary Busey was on there.
If only.
But what if all we did was just scream into?
You mean
So-
you mean we pay Gary Busey just to do that? Like
Yeah.
To
a
have-
real Gary Busey
Yeah.
like scream and moan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that would be great.
I feel
Yeah.
like
That might be worth the what, $50 that we
so. Basically, what I'm hearing is you want to pay Gary Busey $50 to orgasm for you.
No, for him to hear us mimic
Orgasm.
him orgasming. Yes.
Oh, no,
Oh.
see, I thought we wanted
that's
Gary
just as
Busey's
weird.
I want Gary Busey to get into character.
Oh, okay.
I want us to describe the role to him.
I hear he's a method actor, so that could be terrifying.
Oh gosh.
So for those who don't know what Celebrity
Right.
Deathmatch is, it's pretty self-explanatory in the name,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean it's a claymation show where they, you know, it's this kind of a parody of like modern boxing or modern wrestling, you know, where they get these claymation versions of the celebrities that are popular at the time. Like one of the first ones was like Marilyn Manson versus Charles Manson, which is weird that Charles Manson's considered a celebrity.
He is though.
But yeah, I guess.
He really is.
He
There-
is
I guess so.
infamous.
There are
Yeah.
serial killer idolizers, like people who
Oh, yeah, yeah,
idolize them and get like their names tattooed on them and things. Like it's
Well,
weird.
Yeah, well, and I don't know, maybe that's kind of like a springboard for that other kind of conversation we could have around this show, because there's a morbid fascination that us humans have with violence and death and things like that. You know, I mean, we can't help it. You know, we can try to, you know, limit it for sure, but you know, I think that's what it is. There's some sort of draw, and it's a fascinating thing to like understand what could make somebody like actually go there and
Yeah,
actually do
right.
that.
Yeah, and Deathmatch was definitely one of those things that, you know, it's how can they, when will they? That was all that show was. It was kind of loose structure with your two announcers,
Yeah.
and then you've got just like the different, you know, battles between each other happening, and it's always the goriest ending. There's never just like a 1, 2, 3, you're out.
Oh yeah, it's always death. It always ends in death.
Gruesome.
Just
I mean, the
Like
name of the show tells you
Johnny
Celebrity
Gomez,
Death Match.
Johnny Gomez and Nick Diamond were those two characters you were talking about.
Oh,
that
yes.
kind of rang a bell in my head. I just figured it might ring one in yours. 'Cause
Didn't they
you have a
have
better
Gallagher
memory.
on there once?
Who?
Gallagher, the comedian with the mallet and the.
They
Pretty
might
sure
have,
I'm pretty sure the
yeah.
mallet squished someone's
Yeah.
head for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
I keep getting that image in my
Oh,
brain.
Andy
Also-
Kaufman. I think it was Gallagher and Andy Kaufman.
we could look. I mean, there's a huge list, but it kind of takes a while to scroll through it. But you just said something that reminded me of something.
Watermelon, mallet,
Oh, that one summer day.
Gallagher.
No, I don't
all I got.
remember. I don't remember.
The claymation in it was actually really impressive. Like it was raw. Like it wasn't very like whenever you watch something like Coraline or something like that, to where it's like it's very structured intentionally for every little piece. But this was a much more raw thing, because I think the turnaround that they had for these episodes to like do them and put them on TV, like it wasn't as quick as like say South Park or whatever, but
Right.
because it was relevant to the times, but not relevant to like that week in history,
Right.
like South Park is.
And I remember what I was going to say. I was actually going to give a frame like this. I think the last syndicated show of this came out in like 2007. So it's been a long time since it's been on the air. But I just know that we all remember it. And yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's just strange in a way that they actually aired this I don't know. It seems like something that you could almost not get away with anymore.
Right.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Because not only are they just like parroting, society, TV shows, sports, and all the celebrities they get on there, because they were just talking about Chris Rock's like failures. They were like a flop's never hurt him or something, when Dwayne The Rock Johnson fell down. So by the way, Dwayne The Rock Johnson rips Chris Rock's tongue out of his head and cuts it with a big giant pair of scissors. And he's like, they finally shut Chris Rock up. Oh my God. And then, so Chris Rock's, while The Rock is like gloating to the crowd, Chris Rock gets on the string. What are they called?
Turnbuckle?
The ropes
No,
of the ring.
the
The
ropes.
strings.
Yeah,
That's
the
what they call them,
rope. Ring strings.
Yeah, the ring strings.
The wrestle strings.
Yeah, he did like a little catapult move off of that, and like somehow catapulted his head straight through The Rock's body and like exploded him from the. I don't know. So I'm just saying it's like really over the top graphic violence.
I feel like that's quite realistic. I've always wanted to do that to him.
Well, I mean, it's definitely Claymation. Definitely makes that stuff a bit more visceral. I'll say.
Yes,
maybe,
it does.
Than like an animation, or
because
something.
it's a physical thing that's doing
Yeah,
that
that
stuff.
has
like-
weight.
Yes, exactly.
and can be gooey.
right.
Yeah. So it's.
Beastie Boys versus the Beach Boys.
Did that happen?
Yes, they formed like Megazords and stuff.
I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
it was crazy.
I was trying to watch, some of them because there's several clips on YouTube of some of the older stuff that they've put out. It's definitely an interesting one to go down the rabbit hole with.
I wonder how many of those stars like had reactions to those, because most, if not all of them, didn't say, yeah, you can go ahead and use my likeness in this scenario to where I either murder a human being or a human being murders me.
I mean, I'd be fine with it. I mean,
yeah,
anybody
absolutely.
with
But we
can
also
understand the humor behind it.
We don't have these like enormous images that like The Rock. Children idolize that guy. Like he doesn't want his
Well, yeah,
kid
it's definitely
fans.
not something you'd want a kid
no,
to watch.
But for us, like we don't have that.
Well, I
so
mean,
Spice Girls
fine.
versus Hanson.
Ooh, that's a good matchup.
Pamela Anderson versus RuPaul.
Oh,
I think I did see that
And
one.
Kathy Lee Gifford versus Howard Stern in one episode called Death Bowl in 1998.
Oh, they had 3 matches. Did they always have 3 matches in each episode?
It looks like the first episode was just Charles Manson versus Marilyn Manson. That must have been
Okay.
like a pilot or something.
Yeah, it might have been like 15
And then
minutes
they
long or
did that
something.
one I just said. And then it looks like season 1 was in 1998. Episode 1 was Hillary Clinton versus Monica Lewinsky.
Oh, man.
So that's like straight up political satire at that moment,
Yeah.
social satire. I mean, I don't know. That one would be really interesting to watch at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
she's ran for president since then and stuff like that.
Yeah, we were all of us around 10 years old whenever this started airing. So, like, 10-year-olds shouldn't be watching this.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
absolutely
it
not.
came on
No.
late at night during quote unquote adult TV time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I mean, it wasn't like on Nickelodeon, Didn't they even make a video game of it at one point?
They
believe
did.
Yes,
they
they
did.
did.
They did.
I was pretty sure they did.
There was one.
It was called a video game release based on the series was released for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Microsoft Windows on October 14th, 2003 by Gotham
I
Games.
wonder if it's on Steam.
It might be
I mean, it's probably only like $3.
worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've bought weirder, worse things.
There was a Steven Tyler versus Mick Jagger episode, and it was the Battle of the Lips.
Mick Jagger and
See, I think a game like that, a claymation style video game, because now with graphics, that could look really good. And
Oh, yeah.
to make a custom character as a claymation model, like imagine doing that with VR. Like you've got the mold in front of you that you can use your hands and actually like mold this piece of clay into the character that you want, and the inside like joints and stuff all move, just by controlling the character, but you get to design them with your hands with this claymation figure. That would be really cool.
I mean, it would be, but I can only make about 3 things out of clay, and they're all very similar shapes.
Bowl-ish.
No, poop,
Right.
snake,
Okay.
earthworm.
Right. What?
One's squiggly, one's wiggly, one's jiggly. You have to decide.
Yeah, exactly. And one is ribbed for your pleasure.
But now
Oh,
that
which one?
Earthworm. Haven't you ever seen one
Oh,
of them
yeah.
boys?
Okay. Well, that's true.
ribbed for your
Earthworm Jim.
Yeah, it looks like 2005 was like
Also
the
a good
last
game.
time it was ever syndicated, like on TV.
2005.
Yeah, and then
Man.
they tried to reboot it, but it was like it just didn't get picked up. Like they made another pilot, and it just didn't get picked
That's what happened. Okay. Okay. So I remember. Does it say when the pilot was aired? I just feel like
They
this was
probably
very
didn't air
recent.
it. I think they just
Or-
made the pilot for MTV, and then MTV didn't pick it up.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and like when I say like I don't think we could get away with it nowadays, I don't think that means we shouldn't. It's just an interesting question, kind of like what's our fascination with serial killers? I mean, you know, there is
Right.
a fascinating aspect to it.
Well, it's because it's someone. It's a weird thing because it's somebody that's real, like it's a real life human being.
That's famous at that time,
Exactly. And
like Monica Lewinsky and Hillary Clinton at
Right.
that time.
and they're doing these things that some people, may have the thought of it, but would never ever act on it because it's not possible for them to actually act on it. But it is possible for this person. So I think that's that weird. I don't know, man. Like it's not okay because
But that's what makes it funny. Is because it's not okay.
Kind of.
It's definitely crude.
But it's also someone killing people and making a cult to kill people because he didn't kill anybody.
Dadgummit.
But he had a whole.
Wait. I don't want to be taken out of context here.
Wait,
What are we
wait.
talking
You're
about?
both talking
Hold
about
on.
2 different
Yeah,
things.
that's
who am
what
I
I'm-
talking
One
about?
of you is
Who am I
still
talking
talking about. He's still talking about the show, and
Did
you're
you just-
still talking about serial
I was
killers.
talking about
You were
serial
talking
killer.
about
Did you
Charles,
just make me
you were
justify
t-
Charles
you-
Manson?
No, you were
Yeah.
talking.
You was talking about the show. He was still talking about serial killers,
And-
I'm sitting here going, they're not on the same page. But I'm just going to let it
And
happen.
Charles Manson was a serial killer that was on Celebrity Deathmatch. That in technicality didn't kill anyone. He just coerced and convinced everybody else to do it for him.
Wait, in that episode, did he? Did other people finish the match?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Whoa. That's meta.
That's a political
I don't
statement
know.
too.
Yeah.
That is weird.
Yeah. Yeah, because
but
the
some
way you were talking, I was like, Marcus, are you about to tell me that like it's funny?
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
No, that's not what I was saying.
Yeah, because
I was saying the satire of horrible things like that can be funny.
Yes.
Like, imagining Kathy Lee Gifford and Howard Stern fighting to the death is kind of funny.
That is funny.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean-
it's something we would talk about on this podcast.
I would like to see George R. R. Martin and Patrick Rothfuss have a actual fight to the death, because then one of their not only do we lose the person, but their series doesn't get finished either.
There's
so
a lot
whoever
on the
loses,
line.
yeah, doesn't get to finish their
I
epic
only know
fantasy
who
series.
one of those people are.
not only do you
all right.
lose your life, you will lose your legacy.
Exactly.
Well, see, and part of the issue is not everybody's a fan of dark humor. I
Right,
personally
right.
love it. I mean, I've
Yes.
always said dark humor is a lot like food. Not everybody gets it.
No,
You
it's
know,
very
I
true.
mean-
Well, and everybody's got their sensitive subject. Everybody can take maybe a dark joke about this, but then if you make a dark joke about this other thing, then it's like, oh, well, that's off limits to them.
Yeah.
But someone like me, I could.
There are no
I could
limits.
listen to-
Yeah.
there's really no limit.
It's one of those things too. Like if a person doesn't think that what you've said is funny, it's because they actually believe in their heart of hearts that you mean it. And with dark humor, a lot of times it's presented in a way that you can pick up on, like, this is something that's a complex thought. Dig deeper. I
Right.
don't feel that way, but if I did, wouldn't that suck? Hey, it's funny that I don't feel that way, isn't it? And that's dark humor.
So, what celebrities do you want to see kill each other?
Man.
Now that we're done with the therapy part, now we can get on to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fun.
Right. Yeah, now the fun part.
Yeah, now we just name who we want to see kill each other. Mine was Patrick Rothfuss and George R. R. Martin.
That's a couple good ones.
2 authors that are about to finish their books but never will.
Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon.
Yeah, that's really good.
Oh, that one definitely would have happened if they were still on the air.
See, I was kind of going in that direction too because I would like to see Ben Affleck and
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
Christian
I
Bale
would like
was
to
on there.
see
Christian Bale fought
Really?
somebody on.
Oh,
Celebrity
because
Deathmatch.
it was probably the version of him from
Adam West.
Oh,
It was Christian Bale versus Adam West.
see, that's me. I'm wanting these two Batman actors to fight
Yeah.
each other to the death. and-
Spike Lee versus Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, that's
and
great.
Some of these will actually tell you like what happened. So it says Spike Lee's neck is broken after the guest referee Woody Allen karate chops him. Sorry, I'm scrolling in the throat. Quentin Tarantino's rib cage is ripped out by Woody Allen, also featuring Soon Yi.
Like, so if you're wanting to watch something like pretty gruesome but animated, like you're not, because some people react a little bit differently to seeing like in a movie some guy's arm gets blown off where you're watching, which for me it's a little more, like you mentioned earlier, visceral. It's a little more for me to see this kind of stuff because of how like over accentuated it is, like because you see it like whenever they pull the guts out of him or whatever, like it's like it's all the not, it's not realistic, but it's just so over accentuated that it really gets me a whole lot more than watching it really.
Tiny, who do you want to see die together?
I want to see Bernie Sanders with his death mitts.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out somebody to go up against him.
Bob Ross.
No, I love Bob Ross too much for that.
The guy that played him on Saturday Night Live, that wrote Seinfeld. What's his name?
Seinfeld?
Seinfeld?
No, the guy that wrote Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
Oh gosh, he does another show too.
Seinfeld.
No, not Arrested Development. It's the other one.
Moist.
God.
What's the other one? It's one word.
Play, 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 play,
Yeah.
play, play.
Frasier.
Bloop, bleep.
Charlie Sheen.
No. No, is that Coach?
No.
That's not Coach. What is it?
Larry.
Yeah.
The Wonder
Larry
Years.
David. Larry David.
Larry David.
Larry Davis.
Larry David, huh?
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I knew it was an E.
I've never seen that.
No.
I couldn't have helped you.
Curve Your Enthusiasm.
Curb.
Oh, I thought
It's
that
a
was
very,
off of
very,
American
very funny
History
show.
X.
That guy's got a really funny sense of humor. And it's basically George Costanza humor. Like,
But
that's his humor.
It's very dry.
It's kind of
So,
dry and, like, grumpy.
Yeah.
It's very grumpy.
A lot of people are not going to enjoy it.
I was in the pool. Yeah, so that would be a good match. That'd be a good match.
That took so much work.
And I didn't mean to just hijack it either.
No, that's fine.
I was suggesting. I was just
I
suggesting.
don't even remember who the first person
Bernie
was
Sanders
at
with
this
his
point.
death mitts
Oh, okay.
versus, I don't know, whoever you pick. Not who I pick.
I picked somebody in the middle of all that, and now I've completely lost it again. Jim Carrey. We'll
Bernie
just go with
Sanders
Jim Carrey.
versus Cole.
Simon Cowell versus Ryan Seacrest. I would like that.
Jimmy Buffett.
Seacrest is out.
Jimmy Buffett versus Zach Brown. Who's the best speech bum music?
Are you asking me?
Zach Brown
Or
would be
is that
picked.
what the match
Jim-
decides?
I want
No,
Zach-
Jimmy Buffett's the correct answer.
Yeah, but I think Zach Brown would get picked apart.
Are you saying Zach Brown does beach bum music? Because I don't feel like that's the case.
I got my toes in the water, ass in the sand.
That's the only
Not a word.
one. That's
Let's
the
get it-
only song.
Let's
That's,
get away from where the
that's
boat leave from.
Only.
It takes away from all our
the
big problems.
Only one.
That's two I've just named. How many
That
more do you
was-
need?
What's the difference between them,
Self-proclaimed right
really?
now.
Basically a beard and a beanie.
No, not the people.
No, the
there's a
music.
huge difference between the people, Jimmy Buffett and Jimmy Dean,
I
whoever
mean,
this
if
guy
it was
is.
just based on beard, Zach Brown would have it.
Yeah, but Jimmy don't need a beard.
Every man needs a beard.
Jimmy doesn't.
If they want one.
He's in the sand too much.
Yeah, he doesn't want his sandy beardiness.
Hey,
Sand feels so good in your beard.
You're actually
What?
wrong.
You should try.
No.
You're wrong for
I'm
saying
not going to
that.
try that. That's dumb.
It exfoliates the under beard skin.
It's not.
It also
When was the last time you exfoliated under there?
underwear.
Under the beard.
Sorry, he threw a rubber duck.
Give me
at
that duck back.
No, you've lost your privileges.
Are all the episodes on YouTube? for people to be able to go watch? Do you know?
There's definitely some stuff out there.
The
on
matches.
YouTube from like
A lot of
MTV.
matches,
What's it called?
yeah.
Like The Vault. I don't know. I'm not the biggest MTV fan. You know,
me
maybe
either.
when we used to be, when they actually had like fun stuff on
Right.
the TV.
Back when it was called music television.
Like TRL.
We're a bunch of boomers.
I mean, Total Request Live was how you knew what music was popular instead of what 6 songs are we playing in rotation on the radio if you even
Or what's
listen to the
trending.
radio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, do people
But no-
still listen to that?
So yeah, I'm not the biggest MTV fan, even though I have talked about Shannara before.
I watched it.
But I'm not even the big fan of Shannara. I just had to talk about something. Just
But
like tonight.
why is a show like Shanara Chronicles an epic fantasy or whatever you want to call it?
That's on MTV?
yeah.
They started
Music
they-
television.
They,
Are
they
you
got
kidding
canceled.
me?
It got canceled. I'm pretty sure.
It should have, just because it was on MTV.
I mean,
that
agreed.
that channel is just for trash TV, like Rock of Love, Flavor Flav of Love.
That was VH1.
See,
I don't care. It's the
that was
same
off-brand
crap.
Which,
MTV.
and I'm sorry to tell you, the most music
That's
videos that I
dollar
ever
store
watched were not on
MTV.
MTV. They were on VH1 because of the pop-up videos. Pop-up videos. They had little fun facts that would play through the video about the artist and everything. And if anybody likes some interrupting noises and fun facts inserted into stuff you're already accustomed to, it's us. You know, so I figured
that
we'd
is
all
pretty
enjoy
much
that.
us. That's what we do.
Yeah, we are the pop-up video of podcasts.
Oh, I thought we were the bidet of nerd podcasts.
Yeah, because it's like it's alarming, but
Refreshing.
yeah.
Very. Sometimes slightly abrasive.
Yeah.
Sometimes shocking because it's cold. But still a great time. And the greatest part about them is when you have one of those that's like you're trying to wipe peanut butter out of shag carpet, it just right out of there.
I'm immensely injured, and I'm trying to just think of anything besides that.
I'll help you think about
Give
something
me it.
besides that, because I want to talk about the mixing of IPs.
What?
Like they did on Netflix, where they got the Ip Man series in the wrong order.
No,
Sorry, you explain.
intellectual properties,
Okay.
IPs, which we've kind of done that with our nerd grapevine universe. But in real life, beyond our canon, this happens in many different things. An example would be like whenever Batman teamed up with the Ninja Turtles in comics, and also they made an animated film of that too. I think, pretty sure. I don't know if I've seen it. I might have seen it. I think it was forgettable though. But things like that happen throughout a lot of nerd culture, to where, like, remember Scooby-Doo was one that had a lot of different IPs mixed with each other, like the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah, that's one that stands out to me. But there was a whole lot of others that I can't.
Sure.
give.
I think Batman was in Scooby Doo.
He
He
was.
He
One
was.
of these
Yes.
days, the Generals will win.
What? The Generals?
Yeah, one of these days, they're going to beat the Harlem Globetrotters.
They have one. I think they've got a couple wins, or at least one.
I don't know. I always cheer for the
But
Generals.
I think they executed them after that, because they're not supposed to win.
Yeah, they said
they're paid to
they
lose.
said it doesn't matter how well you're doing. Don't do that well.
A mixture of IPs that are coming up soon for those who love Magic the Gathering is Dungeons and Dragons is mixing with it, but that's not technically
Well,
a
they've
different
done that
IP,
a couple of times already.
because Wizards of the Coast owns both of those.
Well, I mean, they're two separate properties.
Right.
Owned
But
by the same
owned by the same
corporation.
corporation, right.
So it is still technically a mixing of IPs.
Right. And then
a different setting.
coming soon, after that, is going to be Lord of the Rings mixing with Magic the Gathering.
Nice.
And
Wow, I did not know that.
yes, and 40K, you know, the tabletop game that's really, really freaking expensive to buy the miniatures for.
Yeah. And it has a lot of lore, but all it is rolling math rocks. That's
Yeah,
it.
it is.
I don't understand 40K.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're out there and you love Warhammer 40K, you're entitled to your wrong opinion, but it sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's too expensive for the little amount of fun that I think I would have.
Because you have to have the figure to put it in your army
Yes.
to attack the other army. And
Well, see, there's this mixing of IPs is the thing to where sometimes it makes perfect sense, because something like Lord of the Rings or Dungeons and Dragons would mix perfectly with Magic the Gathering, because it's this fantasy setting with magic and like even elves, giants. Like it's got a lot of the same characters, a lot of the staples of fantasy. But the 40K thing is what's throwing me off with this, because it's future Space Marines, right?
Yeah.
And future Space Marines seems a little weird. But then again, I mean, there have been things similar to that in Magic lore.
Have you seen any of the lore for Warhammer 40K?
Not even a little bit.
Okay, there's this whole like religious-y cult aspect too that the Space Marines fight.
Okay.
So it can kind of tie in, and Magic has done like constructs and airships and things like that in the past. Right. So it's possible to tie it in, but it is still a little farther out than usual.
Right. Well, see, this is where this really weird like fanboy thing comes into play, because let's say like Marcus, you don't care anything about Magic the Gathering, but you are a
I just never really played it.
Well,
I'm a fantasy nerd, so I'd automatically be into it.
That's why I said
I just don't know how to play.
That's why I said let's say. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
For the sake
I'm
of
getting to a point.
But I don't want people to get the wrong impression.
Well,
of me.
Marcus loves Magic the Gathering,
Yeah.
but I'm going to make up a scenario here to where he hates it more than anything in the world. Let's say you don't care much for Magic the Gathering. You love Magic regular. But Lord of the Rings is something you're very passionate about and have a genuine love for. But it's being taken and put into this other universe, like as far as lore goes, which this is where it gets really nerdy, because who cares?
Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely
That's the thing.
me.
That's where people are going to care, because this is like they're getting the rights from the Tolkien estate or whoever officially owns them, Lord of the Rings now, to put these characters in this universe. So
okay, so what are you telling me?
like these characters are going to have cards. They're going to be like in the Magic because in order to be on a Magic card, like
so they're going to be able to play against
right?
So Gandalf's going to be able to stare down all the abominations of the Magic the Gathering universe.
Right. He'll probably be a planeswalker. A planeswalker is one of the people that summon
different dimensions.
All the things. Right.
So that, I mean, I get it. It's kind of fun, but I mean, it doesn't make it lore. It doesn't make it like canon.
I mean, I'm just picturing in my head somebody going, "Oh yeah, well my Zergo deck, it'll beat your Frodo deck."
And then Frodo wins.
Yeah, and then Frodo comes in. He's like, I'm gonna throw this ring at you, and it's like, man, you can't. You played a Soul Ring on the first turn. It's like, yeah, I was gonna throw it in the volcano, but I thought I'd play it against you instead. Yeah.
Plus, there's a lot of like high-tiered, high-powered characters in the mythos of Lord of the Rings. I mean, like there's a lot of high-level.
Samwise Gamgee being one of them.
Well, he's not a character with high powers, like high-powered.
Excuse
character.
me.
He's just a very heartfelt friend character. He's the hero of the story.
There's Murray and Pimpin, the twins.
See, I saw this quote. It was on a Reddit thread about the. I think it was about the Lord of the Rings cards and stuff. And this guy was saying that he would not, if he were to go to a comic shop or a card shop or whatever to play Magic against people, and he saw them with these cards, he would refuse to play against them because it's going against the lore of Magic the Gathering. And that's like this weird level of it. Who cares? I know.
Magic doesn't have any lore.
It does. It has a story. Yeah, like a pretty, there's a long story with Magic.
Oh, okay, when they got into like Zendikar and Eberron and what's the one right now, Kaldheim, yeah, there's a little bit of lore. But I mean, come on. It was originally invented as a time filler. It wasn't supposed to be what it is, and it's okay that you love it. But if a man wants to play a Frodo Hobbit deck against your Go Big Green Dinos, you sit down and you play that man, and you spank him because his deck is stupid, in your opinion. That's how you are. You
That's
don't
how it's done,
refuse
son.
to play him.
That's how it's done.
You like, I'm gonna beat that deck. That's what you do.
And a card laid is a card played, and no take backsies in this table.
Though I did see something hilarious one time on Friday Night Magic. Guy plays like this stupid card to do something. This other guy plays a cancel, and he gets so mad. He was like, "You can't do that." Yeah, you can. Well, Cuban, he's one of the fellas at our local card shop, was walking around, and he's also a certified Magic judge. And he's like, well, what seems to be the problem? He's like, well, I played this $300 and something card, and he threw down a cancel, and he can't do that. And he looks and he goes, yeah, I see you played a $300 and something card, and it got beat by a 25-cent card. Have a nice day.
Feels so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so good.
Oh.
Who would want to play a game where the $300 card beats the 25-cent card?
Every time.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Magic is kind of that way a lot of times, to where the more money you put into it, the more, because of course the better cards are a whole lot more money, but a smart player with a good deck, like you can make a much cheaper deck and still like be able to counter that one.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to have a $1,500 deck.
Mortal Kombat versus DC needs to be better. I need to redone.
That is a mix of IPs. Yeah.
Yes, I need that to be done better again. I would
Did
like.
that happen?
Yes.
Hold on.
Video game.
Yeah.
Did you not know? About this?
Yeah, no, it's just now like coming back to me because then they made the straight up
Injustice.
DC, yeah, fighting game.
And then I would like to see Spiderman from the late 1970s from Japan remade. It is a series that crosses IPs with Spider-Man from the Marvel universe and the mecha IPs from the
so
Japanese culture. And Spider-Man has his own Spider-Man style mech that he is piloting,
That's
like Power
amazing.
Ranger style,
You've
like
never seen
Sentai,
that?
like Super
No.
Sentai Power Rangers kind of stuff, where he calls upon this Zord vehicle that is, then he gets in and pilots like Spider-Man style.
Ooh.
It was very bad,
So
but
Could
could
be
be.
really good.
I think my favorite part is in the little commercial that's all over YouTube. He hits his little morpher thing, and then like his suit shoots out of it across the room. I don't know, that's one little part, but it's one of my favorites.
Just a moment.
Just because of how ridiculous the whole thing was.
So-
you got to look that up when we're done. It's great.
Okay, I'm going to. So that mix of IPs that's going on now with Magic: The Gathering, which is insanely popular, and Lord of the Rings, which is also insanely popular. I want to know a couple IPs that you would want to see mixed together, like in a world, just like this way. Because I'm sure a lot of people have been going like, man, it'd be so cool if I could play Frodo as a Hobbit in this game, or my wizard if that could be Gandalf, and they're getting that now.
I didn't really know what you was shooting for, and the only thing that I could get to come to my head was Chevy and Milky Way. Yeah. And I'm like, this is awful. So I'm sitting here this whole time going,
Where do we
mine's so stupid.
Where do we go with that?
I don't know.
I'm completely.
I guess you
stumped.
drive it and you eat it. I don't know. I didn't.
But
I
what
guess
if
I didn't
it's-
understand the task.
But what if
at
it's
hand.
in the sun during a hot summer's day and you've spent $40,000 on this vehicle and it just melts?
Don't know. Like I said, mine was so stupid.
But now I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. And this is one that I don't know if I have the capability of doing so.
The seats are made of caramel.
Already a loss. Already a bad
Already
thing no one
delicious.
wants.
You're not getting up.
No,
You're
I
gonna be
think
stuck.
it's a special edition car that's only painted and color schemed like a Milky Way, sponsored in a giveaway from Mars Candy.
Also, the trunk is full of melted chocolate.
It's like
I
a hot
hope.
tub of melted chocolate.
I hope that's
Yes.
what it is. And it has hold on. And in the trunk, it's got, instead of a spare tire, it's got a stirrer that once you get to going and everything gets to heating up back there, then it just starts swirling it all around and gets it all melty and nice. Yeah.
So, chocolate
but the stir is
fondue
also
trunk.
made out of a
Yeah.
peanut.
Chocolate fondue.
Yeah. So chocolate fondue trunk.
That's so catchy.
Chocolate fondue trunk.
Yeah, CFT.
Chocolate fondue trunk.
Yeah.
See, we bring back
Chocolate
the
fondue
El
trunk.
Camino for this.
The El Camino could come back.
And that's what the crossover is.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
they
trunk is
bring
more
back the El
protected.
Camino.
See, I was thinking of a good IP crossover.
Yeah, I said mine was
like,
awful.
See, mine. I want to see
My defense.
I want to see Pokemon and Winnie the Pooh.
Pokapoo.
Because let's say Ash Ketchum rolls up into
Don't ever Pokapoo.
what's the name of the forest?
100 Acre Wood.
100 Acre Wood. Thanks. Yeah, Ash Ketchum rolls up to the 100 Acre Wood and sees this like teddy bear walking around talking to a small pig. and he's gonna throw a Pokeball at him. He's gonna catch him because Winnie can't fight that off. And now Ash Ketchum has a Winnie the Pooh Pokemon that could evolve at this point because he's never been trained.
Oh my gosh.
And so, like, and then you've got Christopher Robin, who's naturally going to be Ash Ketchum's like arch nemesis because Ash is now the Team Rocket of this world because he's going and stealing all of his best friends and turning them into Pokemon, basically.
So are you saying Ash's surname is Ketchum?
That is actually Ash's surname.
I did not know that.
No?
No. You got to remember, I only got into Pocket Men like this year.
That's true, and Ash isn't in the new games.
No.
So, yes, his name is Ash Ketchum, and he's got to catch them all.
From Pallet Town.
From Pallet Town, thank you.
I mean, I knew he had like this idea to catch them all, but I feel like if Winnie the Pooh would have like some honey-based sticky attack,
Absolutely.
like call it Sticky Fingers or something.
Yeah, well, Sticky Hug. You know, he likes to get bear hugs.
He does like
So if he was covered, if he was covered in honey,
Bear hugs.
he goes and gives the hug. Yeah,
He would definitely have confusion. He'd be a psychic type too,
yeah,
because he's lived in the psyche of that little boy for years.
Yeah.
and just projecting what he wants the boy to see. Boys,
Yeah.
Christopher Robin's just sitting over on a log, just back and forth, just drooling all over himself. And Winnie the Pooh's just over there with his psychic thoughts, just like, "No, we're having fun, child." Oh bother! Oh Piglet.
Tigger would be also a great Pokemon. I think a bouncy boy.
He would be hard to catch.
He would.
Tigger would have to be hard to catch.
I feel like Tigger is the Joe Exotic of this universe.
And he would be the Tiger King.
He would be.
T.I. double
All
gutter.
right, yeah, go ahead and make it canon, Tiny. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh man. No, I didn't want to do that to Tigger. I wanted to make him a Pokemon, but now
I mean,
he's
still a Pokemon.
now
He's just
a nasty, crazy tiger owner.
But truthfully, he's been acting like everybody's friend the whole time. But he's actually just been curating them for Pokesnatching.
You think Tigger's been in on the idea that they're Pokemon the whole time?
There's actually more than one Tigger. He just never let everybody know.
Oh, see, I was thinking they were all legendaries, so there's only one of each of them, and that's why Ash was so
No,
excited
he's
to
like
get him.
He's like Meowth. He's not
He's
a really
special. There's
yeah.
there's other ones, but not like this one.
Yeah.
So are you saying Tigger is keeping them all around using illegal substances?
I never said anything about that.
I think he might be though now.
Now that I think about it,
Do you think he got Pooh addicted to the honey?
I think he did.
What's in that honey?
I mean, honestly, if he really ate what was in a honey pot, he would probably not be a very healthy bear.
He's not. He's morbidly obese. All he does is sleep.
He can't fit into pants.
He
That's why
exercises every morning. It's up, down,
Trying to-
touch the ground.
And also, he tries to fit in that honey hole, but he just can't do it.
He does fit in the honey hole. He just doesn't come out of the honey hole.
He can only get in there to his chest. I've seen the picture.
You know, Christopher Robin could just make him skinny.
He could.
That's too easy.
Just cut him open and take out some stuffing.
So I was actually doing the same thing in my head this week before you mentioned doing the intellectual property combinations, just because I have such a fun time with crossing over these universes into different things, and I get inspiration from stuff like those old Power Rangers episodes that I used to watch, because I used to watch so much TV as a kid. And they had a Ninja Turtles that was a live action that they crossed over with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And that would be,
Yes.
those are two non-coagulating entities. And
How did I not know this?
yeah, it
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
I was a fan of both of these franchises.
Right?
That's like two of the biggest franchises of our childhood, and
Yeah.
they threw them together. And that's like when DC and Marvel have mixed like a couple times. Like that doesn't happen often because they're the rivals of each other, you know, as far as the consumer is concerned. They personally are just like, no, we just both want to make really good comics, but people are like, you're either Marvel or DC. Which one are you? I'm like, well,
I'm a DC
I like
guy.
comics,
DC,
but I am
Marvel.
DC. I am DC over Marvel just because I'm more familiar with all of it. But yeah, the mixes like that don't happen often. Whenever you get those big of names, like Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers aren't going to be together
No.
very many times.
And also, I do kind of understand where where they went with Thor versus Shazam, and I understand that Thor won, but I don't necessarily agree with Thor winning with the power of Thor one god versus Shazam, power of 6 gods.
6. I spelled it.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
But he's
There you
also
go.
a little boy, so he needs extra.
Well, so was
he has the
Dr.
wisdom of
Tran.
Solomon. Oh, sorry.
I was taking up for your boy Shazam.
That's a deep cut from the internet for you. Dr. Tran, I don't know. I'm just a little boy.
I've got a good crossover that would be the perfect date movie.
Oh,
No.
So
are we gonna go on this date?
the guy from, it'd be a good date movie.
Like the movie itself is a date movie,
No.
or you go on a date to see the movie?
Right.
That's what I'm asking you. Will you go on a date with me?
You go see a movie that you just
Well,
don't even want to
usually
see.
they go hand in hand.
Yeah, usually there's a date going on if it's
Right.
a date
in the
movie.
movie as you're down your date.
Marcus, will you go on
Right.
a date with me? That's
Anyway.
stop avoiding the question. Just keep avoiding me and tell me what you've got to say.
The guy from 50 Shades of Grey,
Okay.
same setup, except now another jealous billionaire of that girl. That woman's the only thing that has made Batman like swear off his vow to kill, and it's that one. Like basically, the guy from 50 Shades of Grey becomes one of Batman's arch villains,
Like his.
and they're jealous. So it's like a love triangle.
Well,
That's it. That's it.
well, they can't have hand-to-hand
They
combat.
both want the same girl,
Would you call it 50
and they're
Shades
both
of Black?
billionaires.
You can call it 50 Shades of Black.
50 Shades of
Night.
Of the-
Vengeance.
of
50
Night.
Shades of Night.
50 Shades of Night.
Yes.
That's amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it.
With a
That's
K?
it.
Yes, with a K. Of course, with a K. Thank you.
That.
Or
Go on.
the vampires from Underworld visit the Twilight universe.
Oh, they would demolish those, wouldn't they?
Would exactly
Teddy
what I
be
wanna say.
there?
Who?
Teddy.
Roosevelt?
Oh, of course. That's why I mentioned that one.
The man from the first topic.
My dad. Would my dad be there as one of the werewolves?
Yeah, that's
okay.
that's
Yeah.
one of the reasons I was thinking about
I
werewolves.
could not imagine him running through a field, charging at the Volturi. I couldn't.
What's that lady's
Your
name?
dad is a
Kate
very lithe, agile man.
Especially when he's fully in his lycanthrope form.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him scratch behind his ear with his foot. It's kind of amazing.
I've heard him complain about it the next day.
Well, yeah, I mean, did you hear the fireworks that went off in his hip?
I hear fireworks going off because people are celebrating that this episode's over. Thanks for listening to us. It's probably Marcus. Marcus.
Inhaled water.
It's just, oh, did you get a little bit of...
You're not supposed to inhale water.
You don't get the yogurt out your steak tube. Hold your arms up. Hold your arms up. His arms are in the
Arms
air.
up.
Oh yeah, there you go. Stop
I want to
that.
cheer too now.
Yay!
Yay!
No, we're all doing it.
Thanks for listening to us on Spotify and iTunes and whatever else you listen to us on. Give us a review on iTunes. That would be really cool. If you just max out the stars on that MFer, that'd be really dope.
Yeah, and also don't forget about our Patreon. If you wanted to check out Best Friends Period Tiny Ink Period on Patreon, you'll be able to find us on there. If you want to contribute, it's really fun. But to do all this, but it'd be even more fun with more stuff because we don't really have.
Stickers.
Yeah.
If you join the $5,
Yeah.
If you, I've got I made a.
They look like this.
Thanks, Sonny. Thank you. It's a 3x3 inch holographic sticker of our kind of
They
album
can
cover.
see it.
The
Yeah.
thing you clicked on to play this episode.
Yeah, you get a sticker of that. So what you could do, even you can like join for $5 a month and just cancel next month, and I'll send you a sticker. Like if you want to do that, you can. But you could do
But
that.
then we're gonna call Wrinkles the Clown on you.
Oh, and he will.
We're pretty
punish
tight at
you
this point.
for
We
being
are.
a bad.
We have social media, don't we?
We do Facebook. That's also a thing that you can find us on at Nerd Grapevine.
What about the other ones?
Oh, well, yeah, we've got Twitter. That's going to be at Nerd Grapevine. We've got Instagram at Nerd Grapevine. Names that are shared. Also, content will be available on both of those things. Little snippets of our episodes a lot of time on our Instagram, they're funny because it's always completely with no context. Just here's what was said. It's really fun. Thanks for joining us. And I got a question for somebody. Dane and Marcus collaboratively. When life gives you grapes,
You take us and you turn us into claymation figures, and we fight against the California raisins.
I was gonna say you put him where Austin Shazam Pfeiffer's topic was today.
straight out my butt. That's what. I love that.
Moist.